oftentimes we try to assume that it's somebody else's problem, is white people's problem, but black people engage in behavior that also reproduces the ideologies of racism. And so I totally agree with you about the need to rethink our collective consciousness. But also how to live where we are. Sometimes we don't have the capacity to move. So we have to figure out how to make a home, where we are. I can tell you that when my trial took place here in Santa Clara County, in San Jose, there was a single black person on the jury, and that was back in 1972. So that's if you think that the situation was difficult. Well, anyway, it was the Chicano community in San Jose that organized around my case. People came down from Oakland and other places, but San Jose was pretty isolated in those days. And there was one Chicano man on my jury. So I am really thankful to the Chicano community for all of the work that was done around my case here in Santa Clara. And I think we have to learn how to value those ties and those connections. Because in an ideal world, race wouldn't matter in the same way. It would matter perhaps in more creative ways, in more cultural ways, but it wouldn't matter in terms of race being that which determines who can get an education and who can't, and who goes to prison and who doesn't. The problem has been that the assumption was that all you had to do was forget about race, and racism would disappear. The whole ideology of colorblindness, which comes out of the legal realm. It comes out of the law. And we often assume that the law is the final word on everything, right? And so we have to learn how to be critical of the law. I always tell law students, whenever I speak to law students, I say you have to, learn the law and at the same time learn how to be critical of the law, because the law does not recognize the richness of our social lives. Every person is supposed to be an abstract rights-bearing subject before the law. So the law cannot see race. The law can't tell if you're rich or poor. But being rich or poor really matters, right? Because if you're rich, you can escape the clutches of the law. If you're poor, you can't. So, yeah.